There's Julia, a business manager in Seattle, paid $7,000 less per year than a man with the same job description. Lynn, a nurse in Chehalis, earning $8 less an hour than a man in the same position. And the list goes on.
Right now, we have an emergency where women are not getting paid the same for the same job.
Kristen Rao-Finkbeiner is executive director of the nonprofit women's rights group Moms Rising.
Women on the whole are making 78 cents to a man's dollar.
She's concerned about a national partnership of women and families study that shows women working full-time jobs are getting paid nearly $12,000 less per year than men.
And those wage gaps are bigger for moms and for women of color. And that's a big deal.
How big? The study shows in our state alone, women are losing a total of $18 billion a year due to gender pay inequity. Add in the reports that show women make or influence at least 70% of all consumer purchasing decisions. And Rao-Finkbeiner says a loss of wages for women is a loss for all of us.
So when women don't have funds to spend, no matter what gender you are, you're going to lose out. Our economy is going to suffer, and our local businesses are going to suffer too.
But solving this problem is no easy task. State lawmakers have argued over wage equity bills for the past several years. Some critics point to studies that show when women don't choose to get married and have kids, the wage gap shrinks to just 3 cents an hour.
There is statistically no difference between the pay for men and women.
And there's some pushback over the fact our state law already prohibits wage discrimination based on gender.
For these reasons, because it is current law that there should be no difference between pay for men and women, I'm voting no today.
That's just the start of the legal concerns around the legislature's newest wage equity bills, says Patrick Connor.
We need clear rules that we can easily follow and comply with.
Connor is the state director of the National Federation of Independent Business, a small business industry group that does not oppose the spirit of wage equity reform.
We don't object to the policy. We agree 100%, equal pay for equal work.
Right now, if a worker claims pay discrimination, there's one option: filing a lawsuit. But Connor says HB 1506, approved by the House, creates a two-headed monster where employers could face not only a lawsuit, but in addition, a citation and fine from the Department of Labor and Industries.
Don't put a small business out of business because he can't afford to have lawyers representing him in court and have his accountants and lawyers representing him in front of an administrative agency at the very same time.
Connor says the new proposal could simply add confusion for employers and workers.
It shouldn't be some hybrid approach.
If you're doing the same work, you deserve the same pay.
Yet legislators on both sides of the aisle say the persistent wage gap between men and women proves our current laws on wage discrimination are not working. And as women look to national headlines about pay discrepancies in the movie industry or sex abuse issues in every industry, many say it's past time to be heard on gender pay equity.
As we lift the shroud of silence on sexual harassment, so must we make sure that we no longer have secrecy around our wages.
Seattle city leaders are working on this issue too, considering measures similar to the state's to prevent retaliation against workers who ask about compensation and prohibiting employers from asking about salary history.
It feels like we're under siege.
Connor says for small businesses already dealing with paying higher minimum wage and other costs, new regulations on pay equity create even more challenges.
Small business owners are scrambling just to keep up with the changing regulatory climate when it comes to how they interact with their employees based on what has just passed in the last 3 years, and now we're adding to it again.
But advocates say our state's business climate needs changing to deal with a gender pay equity gap that's not going away.
Businesses who are treating women fairly, paying women fairly, aren't going to experience any adverse implications at all. The only thing this is going to do is lift our businesses and lift our economy.